been nearly 8 months since we left, so I think it's more than time we did parts 7 and 8. On day 7, we had our final walk with Mohammed to the small settlement near Ahmed, where the minivan first drops us off, because you couldn't really take us much further than that. So we handed over our tips and had the return journey with the fun mountain roads with the twisty and turny and lack of ventilation, and that was awesome. And we got to go back to Hotel Alley, and we heard that a group of private schoolgirls who we had bumped into when we got back to Ahmed the day before, who were really the kind of an irritating stereotype of schoolgirls, really, like the private school type, kind of very snobby and pretentious and kind of squealy at the same time. We found out that they had been neglecting their iodine to the point where as soon as they arrived at Hotel Alley, and they got there before us, they pretty much just vomited on the steps. So we all found that amusing in a sick way. Sam had been looking for a shop that sold burqas the whole trip, because he has some weird interest in getting one for himself. He had been thus far unsuccessful, so it got to the point where he was probably bored and mad enough to make his own one out of rugs and pretty much anything he could find in the hotel room. So here is a clip of his quite limited success.
Let's see if you can walk in it.
Sam, walk forward. Walk. I can't see. Use the eye hole. Turn right. Turn right. Turn right. Right.
Keep going. Keep going. Shoes. Shoes in the way.
Hey, don't try to put your shoes on. Sam, step. You have to sort of slide around. Oh, I've violated my birthday. I'm not dignified anymore. Yeah.
You don't disrespect me. No, you. That's head from the way. You're Denise Stone, you disrespect me and other people.
Then, a little while after that, a kind of pretty much intrinsic theme throughout the trip of food kind of came to a head. Pretty much as soon as we arrived in Ahmed, we already started craving home food. I mean, the food we were given was still really good. It was really healthy and it tasted really nice until the bread kind of got certainly more stale towards the end. But that's to be expected, really. But we still missed little things like Greg's, McDonald's, pizzas, and so we got to the point where our cravings were so great that we were willing to take drastic measures to get something as simple as milk. So we decided to try and put Sam up to the task of asking Laura if he could milk her.
Does anyone have 20 dirhams for Sam?
No, I've got 55 dirhams and 2 chocolates.
I really want that. I really want.
How do I have to say it?
Say it.
Got
See, we're all.
Just walk in, just start and go. Can I milk it?
Let's go in.
You have to start a conversation. You can't have his hand and then at the same time. Then like just ruin it. Yeah, you've got to do it like start another conversation and just like mid-flow just go.
Say, I'm feeling a bit thirsty, so kind of milk on it.
Can't I just go into the pedo face? Yeah.
Can I milk you?
No, Sam, you go normally fit, then you move to the pedo face and that's what.
That would be so funny.
20 dirhams.
Think of the Fanta, Sam. Whole £1.40 something.
My debt off the child for
£1.54, Jake.
£1.54.
I've got a quid in English money.
Not even more.
I won't be able to buy Fanta of it.
Maybe you could get it exchanged.
You can't change phones.
Yeah. I don't think it's great for kind of change, actually.
Where is your sense of adventure?
Going in and asking girls if I can milk.
It's a legitimate pastime. Here's your chance, Sam.
I think you should just ask
God.
God.
It's your chance.
I'm not going to ask them if I can milk them.
It's probably best if you just go.
They're trying to get me to to milk some of you for 20 dirhams.
Whose idea was this?
Well, I said I wanted to milk Robbie.
Tom, I'm sorry. Once you've got a plan and we've got a time to come back here, will you just knock on room 111 and tell Josie and I? Thank you.
Then Chez's homesickness evolved into patriotism.
You've already got an iPad.
Ooh, bring it over. The Queen's face. What's the money you got now? That's one last tonight.
Wishes Queen, God save a noble Queen. God save the Queen.
Then, of course, we wouldn't have fulfilled a trip to Morocco without visiting the world famous souks, and I didn't get any footage there, sadly, because such places are kind of notorious for pickpockets, and I didn't want to lose my camera with the better part of a week's worth of footage on it. So, and it just so happened nothing much really happened while we were there, because it was still not far off the heat of the day at the time we were there, and within about 20 minutes we were all just boiling and irritable, especially with some of us being slow in their movements. And we were told to stick together, but we had to kind of abandon that protocol since Chez was starting to really feel the effects of the heat, and basically we had to get him back to the hotel, otherwise he would have felt pretty bad. So we got him back and brought him some water. Another thing about Morocco is that the Fanta there is gorgeous. I mean, I'm not just saying that because when you are in such higher temperatures than you get here in the UK, that you kind of value liquids more, but it's really down to a distinct difference in the ingredients. I mean, it tastes completely different. Here it just kind of tastes like E numbers in a bottle, but over there it legitimately does taste like fizzy orange juice. It was really, really good, especially when we were going around the souks and we were exposed to that level of heat. We kind of couldn't really go 15 meters without buying a new bottle of Fanta because of Chez's aversion to the heat. We had to persuade everyone else to resort to having our evening meal in the hotel, because they did have their own restaurant, and Chez definitely couldn't handle looking around the city for a different place because he was still suffering. So we just went onto the terrace and ordered some pizzas, which is good because that was one of the things I was craving personally, and it was really good pizza as well. And of course after dusk, that's when the main entertainment comes out, because that's when the temperatures actually become amicable, sadly enough. So then we split up into groups to explore and observe the town square, and apparently the locals somewhat resented people observing and not paying for the entertainment that they were providing, as we learned when one slightly strange man in a kind of posh fez with a slightly longer tassel on it kind of walked up to us and started just kind of spinning his head like this and making the tassel fly around like some kind of helicopter rotor. And then he gestured to me and put it on my head, so I started doing it and people took photos and then we all took a turn. Then he demanded he took money off it. We should have really kind of seen that coming, I suppose, but it was a total culture shock. We had no idea what was going on. So, and by the time we returned to the rooms, the temperature was still in the 40s, and it is pretty damn hard to sleep under that kind of temperature, which is why probably we didn't even get that much sleep the first night we were there. So to try and remedy this, we all had all the students had a kind of adjoining room between our rooms. I say room, it was just kind of some kind of stone floor that happened to be some form of balcony with a window on one side, one room and 3 rooms on each of the sides even, and one of the rooms was empty, but the other 2 had the 9 of us. So we kind of took as much bedding as we could, put it onto the floor, and tried to sleep there, because it was just colder. And I think I was the only one who managed to get to sleep there, because by the time I woke up, everyone else had gone back into their rooms, which was nice. They all left me, the bastards. And that's pretty much the end of day 7. I didn't so much bother getting any footage on day 8. It was the final day that we were all together, really, and it was a travel day. We were all kind of bummed that it was over, but also anticipating coming home, because while we did have an amazing time, we missed everything. Like just being able to take a hot shower and eat junk food and watching DVDs and music and friends. So I didn't really think that filming anything on that day was appropriate. Nothing really happened even anyway. We got up, had the same pancakes, killed a bit of time, then headed straight over to the airport, waited there for about an hour, flew to London, waited there for a while, and only to have our flight delayed, and flew back to Newcastle and went home, told everyone I was back, and slept. Overall, the World Challenge expedition was an incredible opportunity. Given the same opportunity again, I would do it in a heartbeat. It was so fulfilling. The achievement you feel out of doing something like this, it's not like one of the gently sloping hills you would climb in the Lake District. This is a proper mountain. I can't really even put into words how fulfilled I personally feel after doing this. Even just by having raised the required money. I also came back being the fittest I have ever been, without a shadow of a doubt. Having nothing but healthy food and doing nothing but exercise essentially for a week straight. If you ever given the opportunity to do an expedition with World Challenge, do it. Or we can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry. And that's it for this series. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed filming it. And maybe I will do more with the channel eventually, when I can be bothered.